Hello there. Today, we are talking about what happens when your partner gives you a short answer instead of a real answer. Does that make your partner a jerk, or is something more nuanced going on here? So let me just share my live to a couple of groups, and then we will be on our way. Here we go. It's happening. It's happening. Have you experienced that when your partner? I'm trying to engage you in conversation while I'm posting this thing on, sharing this. Have you experienced your partner give you a short reply? Doesn't feel so good, does it? Okay, here we go. Now, this conversation is inspired by a woman who posted something, and she said, I'm feeling really frustrated. I'm in blue. We're long distance, and I'd like to not spend so much of my time driving there. It sort of feels like if I stopped going there as much, we wouldn't see each other. I love my home. It hurts to hear him say he doesn't like it here and then get a short response. So she gave a little clip of their conversation, and I'm going to read it to you because there's a little bit of gold in here that I want to share with you that she missed. I pointed it out to her and she appreciated it. And then we'll have a bit of conversation. So here we go. She says, what do you think? She says to him in a text, what do you think about time together if you were the one that had to come here more? ? He says, I don't really like it there. I prefer to be at home. She says, well, that's a problem. This is my home. Okay, so first of all, right there, I'm not saying she shouldn't have said anything that she said. Totally fine. She say whatever she wants. However, in that moment, there's a missed opportunity to draw out more conversation from her partner, because she said, instead of saying, oh, what is it about that you, what is it that you don't like here, to find out what's really going on, she says, well, that's a problem. This is my home. So she makes her the first statement. Statements don't open people up. We want to open up deeper honesty, especially scary honesty. You want to invite them out, not make a statement that's going against what they said. Doesn't mean she has to roll over like a doormat and accept what he said, but she doesn't even know what's going on yet. So maybe she'd like to get some more information. She said it was too short. Then he says, I come when I can, but I have a lot to do here. She replies, me too. He says, I've made a commitment to come next weekend, despite not knowing if I'll have a vehicle. If you look in the comments, he had an accident and he's not sure what's going on with the rhythm of fixing his vehicle and whether he'll be able to drive. But he is saying, look, I am trying to compromise here. It's not like I never come to your house. Anyway, then she says, is it just my home? And this is the crux part. Is it just my home or any other house? It doesn't feel good to have you say you don't like my house. And his response, then I will keep it to myself. So what I explained to her, and maybe you can hear it, is that basically one of her complaints was that it doesn't feel good to hear him say that. Okay, that happens. That happens in a relationship. Your partner will say something that you don't want to hear, and it doesn't feel good. Okay, that happens. But the other part was, and to get a short response. But what she didn't see was that the reason she got a short response is because she shut down his honesty. Now, here's how it goes. It's not like she told him to shut up, but partners don't want to hurt each other. And it's really hard to say something out loud to your partner that your partner's not going to want to hear. And he went ahead and did that anyway. And then she shut him down twice. The first, what I mean is, she gave a response that made him feel like it's not safe for me to share my honesty. I'm just causing damage and problems. She doesn't, I'm causing, I don't know if he thinks of it this way, I am causing problems for myself, or if he thinks of it like, this isn't working, it's just getting worse. It's only making her feel bad. So I shouldn't say it out loud. But when she said, well, that's a problem. This is my home. And is it just my home or any other house? Okay. She's asking for clarification, but then she says, it doesn't feel good to have you say you don't like my house. Now that's a move that's more like, I don't know if you're going to like the way this sounds, but we're in a relationship here. Maybe you can become curious about what I'm saying if you don't like what that sounds like. That it's kind of controlling. So instead of trying to understand what he's saying, she's now telling him, I don't really like that you said that. And that is a control move instead of a drawing someone out move. Now, I'm not saying she's wrong for how she feels. And I'm not saying he's wrong for how he feels. I'm not saying either of them is wrong. This was the most interesting part for me, actually, when I shared with her that she got a short response because she reacted to his honesty instead of giving him, maintaining an even keel and some curiosity to draw out his honesty. That's why she got a short response. Other people were like, well, what is she? She's supposed to just roll over and let him act like a jerk. She's just supposed to, not say how she feels. She's just supposed to write off her feelings and let him do whatever he wants. How are they supposed to work out their relationship? And I was like, whoa. It's totally not about that. Like those questions of what she chooses to do, what's okay with her, what's okay with him, what is actually going on with what he doesn't like. We don't even know what he doesn't like. All of that is yet to be resolved. The thing is it's very, very simple. Communication dynamics. And what do you want to have happen in the communication dynamics? Do you want the scary honesty, the things that are scary, that are tough to say? Do you want to know what's really going on beneath the surface? You want to hear the things that your partner's scared to tell you. If you want the full answer, if you want the real answer, you've got to create a safe space for someone to share that honesty without feeling like they're breaking everything. And it doesn't mean that you have to accept what they say. In other words, it doesn't mean that, like if he says, I don't like your house because the walls are painted yellow and I hate yellow and I can't bear to see it. Then now she's got the full information. I mean, of course I think that's ridiculous. I don't know. But she got the full information at that point. And then she can decide how she feels about it. She could be like, oh, well, I didn't really like the yellow anyway. I just haven't gotten around to painting it. And she could paint her walls. And then he could be like, thank you. The walls are white now. I don't mind being at your house. Or she could be like, are you kidding me? I love yellow. And you're so shallow that you can't deal with looking at yellow in order to be with me, then I don't want to be with you anymore. Whatever. But she doesn't even have the full information because she got reactive. So it's really interesting to make the nuanced, subtle distinction between what's a value judgment or a rule and just looking at the dynamics of the communication and what do you need to do to get the conversation to go to the depth that you want it to go. It's not a sacrifice of integrity. It's not an agreement to be a doormat. It's just noticing, oh, okay. When I express that I feel hurt, he doesn't feel safe to share. So I can acknowledge that I feel that way to myself, but I might make a different decision about what I say to him at that moment so that I can allow the conversation or cultivate the conversation to go where I want it to go. So I find this really fascinating because Because I recognize that actually where I learned this subtle tracking of the nuances of communication like this is actually from working with horses. And because the realm of working with horses is all nonverbal communication, it's all about pressure and energy flows in communication dynamics. And that's what's going on with couples all the time. It's really confusing to sort out where do I end and you begin? What part of this uncomfortable dynamic that didn't work between us is my stuff versus your stuff? And that is a bigger nut to crack, to sort all that out. It can totally be done. But just in terms of actually getting through hello, Michelle, thank you. Just in terms of getting through the conversation the most productive way possible, to actually get to ask the questions and hear the answers, to understand what's even going on with your partner, you've got to be able to make decisions that are non-reactive. You've got to be able to make decisions about the conversation where you're understanding these pressure and flow dynamics, and you are making choices that serve the greater good of your relationship, to listen to each other and understand each other, to make choices in the conversation that keep the flow going, instead of asserting pressure by mistake and causing it to shut down, causing the flow to collapse. So I found this really interesting, made me want to get on a little soapbox and talk about it to you. And if you find it interesting, I am actually considering doing a communication dynamics, like pressure and flow in communication dynamics challenge. If that's something that interests you, can you put #challenge in the comments? If I get enough interest, I will design something like this, and we can go through like 4 or 5 days together of different communication dynamics that are coming up in your relationship, and how you can see more deeply how you'd want to handle them in a different way, a better way, to get more connection, communication, and mutual understanding going in your relationship. So if that interests you, let me know by putting #challenge in the comments. And if I have enough interest, I will definitely do that. And I'll ping you to invite you to join too. So you'll get a notification if it happens. So let me know if you're interested. #challenge. Okay. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye for now.